What's up, guys, and welcome to the Knuckle Sandwich Podcast. I am your host, Brandon Anderson, and today on this special episode, we have the one and only Ryan Collins from Hub City MMA here to talk about how life is as a promoter, what goes into fight cards. I mean, we had a fantastic conversation. We're even going to promote and drop a little teaser of some of the fights on November 11th. But very first, I think there's something in the water, in the air with these West Tennessee boys, because I asked him, what is your favorite sandwich? And of course, his answer is the same as Mark Pillows, just down the road from him, a PB&J. So you're gonna watch me eat this, and then we're gonna get into the interview. Listen, I will never get tired of eating PB&Js. If every single interview that I ever have says that, I'm a happy man. This interview's fire. This sandwich is fire. You are about to be on fire. Let's do it. Here we go. All right, what's up, guys? I am here with the one and only Ryan Collins from Hub City MMA. Ryan, what's up, bro? How are you?
What's up, man? I'm good. I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm excited to chat with you for a little bit about fights and promoting and whatever else you got.
Heck yeah, dude. I'm excited too. And I mean, we were just chatting before even hitting record, and you were talking, or I had said, it's been like 10 years since I've seen you. And for the people that don't know, I'm only 24. So I've known Ryan since I was like 10, 11, 12 years old, and haven't talked to him in 10 years. So it's like, man, it's been a long time, but it's like we have never left off at the same time, you know? So it's pretty cool to be sitting down right now. So let's talk about, first and foremost, the promotion. Like, that's kind of like what this interview is about. Ryan Collins, the promoter. We could have talked about the fighter a long time ago, but right now, like, it seems like promoting is really what you're doing at the moment in the MMA scene, right?
Yeah. I kind of not hung it up, but I still enjoy the fight, the fight aspect of it. I still have it on my mind. I want to do another one, but my main focus is the promotion right now. But I still train almost every day. I got an injury right now, but normally I'm training 3 or 4 times a week. So it's a little harder now when you got 3 kids, But the promotion wise, man, it's me and my wife, and it's a smaller promotion. Back in the day, you probably remember Innovative Cage Fighting.
Yeah.
I did that a long time ago, and I was just young, and it was too much, So
yeah, I
kind of got out of that and started back focusing on fighting again, and then found myself, I guess 7 years later, and decided to do it again.
Yeah, because I was doing some digging when you sent me your email, and it's still Innovative Cage Fighting. I was like, hang on, like, I remember this now. I was like, I knew there was something farther back that I was like, I know there was something about this. Like, I think when I pulled it up on Tapology, it was like 2016 was the last event of ICF.
Yep.
So, like, what kind of happened between, like, I know you said you went back to fighting, but between that 2016 to when did you start up Hub City? Like, what kind of made that transition back into promotion? And then also too, like, I mean, how did Hub City MMA, or how did that come about?
Well, like I said, I kind of focused on fighting for a while, and then I recently had not recently, he's 2 years old now, so it feels recent, but
yeah.
Had a kid, and fighting slowed down for me. So then I started thinking again, our gym here in Jackson, Aero Athletics with Anthony Jones, the gym was growing. MMA was growing in the area, but there was nowhere to fight. In Jackson, or even really other than Memphis, nowhere close to Jackson. So that kind of just threw it in my mind to, hey man, I know how to do it. Like, I have the funds to do it. And my wife was like, I'm all in. And
nice.
I kind of showed her the ropes the first show, and she took a lot off my shoulders because she's good at the computer stuff. She's good at, the tickets, the sponsors. She helps me a lot. So that kind of makes me, it makes it a lot easier to do, because promoting, man, that's kind of why I got out of it a long time ago. It's just tough and a lot of stress, and you can't really focus on fighting and promoting,
Fair. So what is, like, I guess, what is Hub City, right? Like, what is kind of how did it originate? What's the story of it, if there is one at all?
I mean, really, we just me and my wife decided we were going to get back into promoting, and we threw around names, and we come up with Hub City, which is kind of, I guess, for Jackson. You come into Jackson, everything in Jackson's Hub City this, Hub City Deli, Hub
Yeah,
City.
yeah.
And oddly enough, we throw the events at the Hub City Brewing Company. So
Nice.
it's just the name. As far as the name goes, we just kind of, we went through a few different options as far as picking the name of the business, but that's what
Were there any bad options that you were like, dude, there's no way?
I'm trying to think, man. I know there were some. Probably, I bet my wife's ideas were probably pretty funny if I could remember.
Yeah.
There's no telling what
Sure.
her names were, but I'll have to ask her. I can't remember.
Well, so the life of a promoter, or like putting on a show, like for you, are you building the fight cards, or is that part of your thing, or do you have a team of guys that kind of help with that?
No, I do the fight card. So
Okay.
really, to be honest, until the night of the fights, maybe the Friday before, we do have a lot of friends, a lot of people that help. Of course, the timekeepers, the refs, the people that run the back for me. I have a lot of friends and buddies that help make the show happen. But as far as like all the footwork to get there, it's pretty much just me and my wife. I do the matchmaking. I do some of the legal stuff for the insurance and permits and all that. And but she handles like booking, the doctors, the refs, and all that. But I would say the hardest part, and always will be, is matchmaking. It's I tell everybody, man, I'm like, I absolutely hate matchmaking. You wouldn't. I mean, that's why really I only throw like 2 shows a year.
I mean, and that seems like the fun part of the process, right? Like in the eyes of a spectator, because for me, it's like when I play. Look, I'm 24. I still play the Xbox. When I'm on UFC 4, right? Like I'm building fight cards, and that's the best part of the thing. Like I don't even want to play the game. I just want to build the fight cards. So for you to say that that's like the most tedious, like part, whatever, I'm like, what? There's no way. But I could understand that for sure.
Yeah, if you think about it, say if I was a matchmaker for UFC, now that's fun because everybody wants to fight for you. They're already there. You just pick and choose who you want to match. For a regional local show, it's a little harder because and amateur level too. So you got these guys that reach out maybe and that really aren't that serious about it. And so I mean you can't blame them. They're amateurs aren't getting paid, so they may something else better might come up and they may say, you know what, man, I'm not interested no more. So your show's on the line and you're trying to scramble to get guys. I mean it's every night I'm on my phone in the bed trying to text and talk back and forth and set up fights. And the local scene is so big right now. There's promotions everywhere.
Okay.
And I mean, I know all the guys that promote and I work well with them all. And I try to never book over them. They don't book over me.
Yeah.
Everybody works pretty well together, but there's so many. I mean, these fighters can't fight 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah.
2 weeks later, come fight for me too. So it's a competitive area, right now. It's just it's hard to get, the high level guys and get them to commit, and make sure nothing, injuries are going to happen.
Right. Because I think like I'm trying to get more into the local scene again, right? Because like I said, I've been out of the local MMA scene probably since 20 freaking, I don't know, 10. So it's been forever.
Yeah.
And so like I started following some of these accounts on Instagram, like Attitude MMA. I see they have a fight this weekend, right? In Memphis. Like, would you say Memphis is still probably y'all's biggest competitor when it comes to like booking shows and stuff like that? Is there multiple shows in Jackson nowadays, or is it kind of just you guys and that's it?
Yeah, in Jackson it's just us. There's also Black Time Boxing. It's a charity event.
Yeah,
but I work with them. I match make their cards. I do all the fight stuff. They do the the charitable part of it. They handle all that. But as far as the fighting goes, so that's kind of us too. So, but Memphis has quite a. You got CFFC in Memphis, which is a pro-am show.
Yeah.
Attitude, which has grown, and it's a pretty big pro-am event also.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got in Tupelo, you have Summit Fighting, SFC.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's within, 2 hours too. So
Right.
it's a competitive area but I mean, to be honest, I'm happy with like 2 shows a year.
Yeah.
It gives our local guys a chance to fight, in the hometown. And then, it just gives Jackson, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to,
Right.
6 shows a year, people kind of might get burnt out on it. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I think
for
we should get
sure.
on 2-3 shows.
It's plenty.
Yeah.
So like whenever you're building a card, and you kind of said this earlier a little bit, like you're in the bed texting and stuff like. Do you normally seek out fighters? Do they come to you, or you talk with the coaches mainly? Like, how does that work on the amateur level, right? Of like building that card.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. When we were talking about it earlier, that's a good question, because so what I focus on, man, as a promoter, my goal as a promoter, because what I told you earlier, I absolutely hate matchmaking.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I'm thinking, what can I do, man, to make that part of the job easier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what I come up with then is I was a fighter myself, and I remember what I enjoyed and where I enjoyed fighting and how they treated me and what they did to make me feel like important and stuff. So I try to take those things and bring them to our show, and hope that the same fighters, they're like, man, we always try to give them a few things. I'll get like a Coca-Cola, give us some stuff to give away for the fighters.
Nice. Yeah.
Sponsors will give us T-shirts sometimes. This next show, I plan on doing some Hub City MMA T-shirts for the fighters.
Nice.
We try to make sure we got, nice, not like cheap made plastic medals when they win.
Mm-hmm.
We get the nice belts too, like 400. They cost us like $450, $500 belts.
Wow.
So, stuff like that, because you can't pay them. So,
right, just making it feel like it's a pro fight, but for an amateur, right?
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
main thing is making them feel appreciated. So,
For sure.
But back to the question. So I have a good group that's fought for me kind of since I started Hub City, and then I got some people that still coach and know me from fighting myself, or from my promotion back in the day. So like I've built, a pretty good relationship, mainly just from fighting and kind of just being in that circle. So I have a good group that reaches out when they see me post a date, but I always have to still go and, reach out to other coaches and gyms and stuff. So it's a little bit of both.
Sure.
But my goal is to, like you said, have them where I can post my date and everybody's messaging me.
Coming to you, right? Yeah.
That would make matchmaking a lot less stressful.
For sure. And so to kind of go off of that with like talking about, matchmaking still being stressful, and that's kind of the key point with fight cards. It seems like, so we always hear, do styles make fights, or like styles make fights, right? Do you believe that? And if you do, then what styles make the best fights in your opinion when building these cards?
I definitely believe that. I think that's it's so true, and you see it in the UFC sometimes and in the big shows. And I think so. The best style, I think, is, of course, this is going to be probably just an opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
I would think it's the majority, though, as far as casual fan goes.
Looking for a knockout, right? Two guys. I already know your answer.
Kickboxing. Like I'd love to see a good kickboxing fight. Not actual. I'm talking about MMA, but kickboxing.
Yeah.
And then I think, though, so if you think about it, styles make fights, right? So you get two jiu-jitsu guys, you match them up. Mm-hmm. You see that in UFC a lot of times. If you got two jiu-jitsu guys, you would think, man, these guys are going to battle it out on the ground. But a lot of times they don't. A lot of times it ends up being a stand-up fight
because they're nervous to go down to the ground to see who's going to be better, right? So it's like,
I mean, you've probably seen that. You keep up with UFC pretty good. You think,
oh yeah,
the two black belts they're gonna be on the ground within 2 minutes, but they end up being, it ends up being a stand up match. So
for sure. And so like I've noticed, I stalked the Hub City MMA page. I try to get as much information as possible, right? I noticed on one of the last cards you had some kickboxing matches, and you said that kickboxing is like one of your favorite fights to make. Is that a normal thing for your cards to have some kickboxing matches on there?
Yeah. Like I said, I really enjoy kickboxing. Mm-hmm. So I do always try to make it a habit or a goal to at least have one or two on there.
For sure.
It's also important. So a lot of guys nowadays, they'll before they even get into MMA, they'll start off with a kickboxing match, which is a good idea. You know, kind of slowly work into it, especially if you're a younger kid getting into MMA.
Yeah.
Um, so the only thing I don't like about it is Tennessee makes us wear headgear and
I've noticed that. Yeah, yeah. And shin guards as well, or no?
yeah, shin guards too.
Okay.
Which I'm cool with the shin guards. You can still hear the smack when the shin guards land.
Right.
Something about the headgear though, man. It don't seem like it's don't get me wrong, getting hit with headgear still hurts. Like
Oh
it still
yeah, 100%.
still rocks you.
Absolutely.
But from an outsider looking in, it doesn't look near as hard. Like it
Right.
doesn't
Doesn't
like
look as like barbaric almost in
yeah.
the sense of like you hear guys all the time, commentators in the UFC, they're like, oh, it's like he has headgear because he's blocking. It's like you want headgear, put your hands up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of the fighters, believe it or not, I would say the majority, like 90%, when I book a kickboxing match, they're like, man, do we got to wear headgear?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, man, unfortunately, that's just a ISKA thing. So,
Because if I recall, like back in my boxing days and, like third, fifth grade, it's like headgear, man, you get all sweaty, gets uncomfortable, starts rubbing your chin raw, but then like take the punch and it makes it where you can't see if it moves and all that. And it's like you said, it's almost more of a hindrance than it is a help at sometimes. So, I mean,
this is probably a whole nother discussion, but I have weird beliefs on headgear.
okay.
I'm a little
Hey,
different.
we can dive into some conspiracy theories here if we need to. We got time.
I'll make it short, but long story short, when I do straight boxing in the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just may be because I'm not used to wearing headgear, but like you said, for one, all the cons about it. You got to straighten it out. You can't see sometimes out of your peripheral,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're doing kickboxing. But the main thing is when I leave, I tried this for like a week. I was like, man, I'm gonna wear headgear. I don't want to get cut.
All
I
right.
would leave, man. And you know that feeling when you shake your head and it feels like everything inside your head's moving,
Oh yeah.
like after a night of boxing or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's not good. You don't want to. That it's probably not a goal to go home feeling like that. But I noticed when I wore headgear, that's how I felt. I would have a terrible headache.
Okay.
So I did that for a week, and that next week I went back and I said, "Man, I ain't wearing headgear. I'm just on a box." And I don't know if you can hear that. Can you hear that?
Oh yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
All right. Yeah. So when I go in that week, I don't wear headgear. I notice, man, I'm good. Like I don't have no headache, no nothing. So I bet I wore headgear in my life of training probably 8 times.
Really.
Yeah, probably 8 to 10 times. I
And
hate
it's
it.
like when you think about it, it's like wearing the headgear almost makes you feel like that comfort to where you're not as like braced, you know what I mean? Maybe. So
Yep,
like
yeah.
if you don't have it on, you are anticipating getting hit in the face. Whereas if you have that headgear on, it's like, like I can take a hit. It'll be fine. I got that padding, whatever. And then you take too many.
So that's one thing. That's one thing. The other thing is, so if I go to slip a punch, the headgears, I don't know what it's made out of. The
Mm-hmm.
vinyl,
Right.
I'm not sure. Same thing as a boxing glove, probably. But
Mm-hmm.
if the corner of that glove catches that headgear, it kind of grips, like
Yeah.
it kind of like you can't slip it like you could, like if you're sweating, you could kind of slip off a glove punch.
Right.
Headgear, I feel like it's like a target, and when you hit part of the glove, it's like the whole headgear rocks. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's my idea behind the headache part of it. Like it's hard for me to slip and move, and every little punch is making some kind of impact on my head versus having no headgear because I can slip better.
I think you have a valid argument. We are going to go to the board together November 10th before the fight. No, I like it though. So I mean, so let's kind of dive into in the beginning we talked about some local fighters, local shows, things like the competitive nature of obviously not trying to step on each other's toes, but having to compete for fighters, whatnot. Who are some of the local scene guys that you feel like will make it big? We just saw AJ Cunningham in Memphis go to the Contender Series on Tuesday, right? And then I think his name's Rambo, I believe, is going in a few weeks. So it's like some of those guys, those are pretty local dudes. So is there anybody else that you feel like is kind of on that verge, on that rise of making it to the next step?
Man, there's a lot of guys. So Memphis has a lot of good guys right now, which you're seeing most of them as far as the pro level goes, you're seeing most of those guys are making it or are getting the opportunity at least. So Danny Barlow, he's fighting Rambo on the Contender
Okay.
Series. They're both Memphis guys, and so Danny fought for us. His last amateur fight was for us at Hub City.
Okay.
He fought Philip Hazelwood, and man, it was a really good fight. Danny's super good, and I've seen Rambo fight too, and Rambo's really good.
You have a prediction for that fight?
Man, I don't.
Putting you on the spot.
I'm gonna go with Danny because Danny kind of trains at the sister school with us.
Okay, so you kind of you got that relationship. You got to a little bit,
I've met Danny. I've talked to Danny. He's fought for us, so I got a little more of a relationship. And I've seen him fight. I've seen him fight in person. I haven't ever seen Rambo fight in person.
Okay.
I like Danny's style. He's kind of he moves. He's real good on his feet. He's elusive. He's a good boxer. Rambo's just strong and powerful, and he can wrestle you. So, man, I'm probably more excited about that fight than I have about anything, in a long time as far as seeing a regional or a local guy on the big stage get an opportunity. So that'd be an interesting fight.
Anybody else? I mean, so we got Danny, we got Rambo. Any other guys that you feel like? I mean, even Jackson guys, right? Like, I know you said Memphis is really good. What about any Jackson dudes kind of on the come up?
Man, we got a lot of them. So Adrian Grundy just had his first pro fight. He fought amateur a ton for us, probably 6-7 times. He made his way. He's been fighting for a while. Adrian, he fought on CFFC for his debut pro fight, which is CFFC is UFC pulls a lot of their champions and to the UFC cards. So
I've noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big, to be your pro debut. That's a big show to step up and fight on for your debut. So
for sure,
he lost a decision, but he's got another fight in Tunica, November. I think it's the weekend before November 11th. I can't remember. Maybe the 3rd.
November 4th, maybe.
Yeah. So he's got another fight November 4th for CFFC. Adrian, man, he's a beast, man. If he focuses on training and is healthy, he's hard to beat because he's good everywhere. He's fun to train with, man. I've known Adrian for a long time. He's a good kid. Lane Rowe, I don't know if you've heard me talk about him.
I've heard that name, I feel like, as well. I think Anthony posted a video maybe on his Instagram of him the other day, I think.
Yeah, they call him the prodigy. So Lane, I truly believe, which he's still an amateur right now, but he checks every box, man. You don't have to text to see where he's at. He shows up in the gym. He coaches at the gym like the kids jiu-jitsu.
Dang, yeah.
Yeah, he's 18 or 19, so he's still really, really young. And he's naturally good at everything. And if there's something he's not good at, he finds it, he knows it and he works on it. Like that's all. That's what he focuses on. So he's really got the opportunity, and he's fighting tomorrow night at Attitude. So,
okay.
He's fighting for their 155 title.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he holds Hub City MMA's 145 title.
So you're gonna be fighting November?
He will be fighting November. I didn't want to leak it yet, but we'll do that one. That one just for the podcast, man. We'll do that.
There we go. Special edition, special drop right here. Lane Rowe, November 11th. Let's go, dude.
As long as he don't, which his coach told me, we're gonna focus on this fight,
of course.
And as soon as this is over, we'll get something. But I already have something locked in. I'm just waiting to present it to them. They're good. They're going to be good with it. We just got to make sure Lane doesn't get injured.
I say you guys see how this weekend goes, all that kind of stuff, whatnot. Yeah, for sure.
But there's a really good chance Lane's going to be even if Lane was to get bruised up or leg kicked or something like that. He's got plenty of time, and he's wanting to stay pretty active. So it'll be it's a good time frame between tomorrow night and November 11th. So we should be good. We'll announce the opponent later on. Maybe we'll do
another special podcast for that one right there. There we go. I like it.
Corbin Lyons is another name. That kid surprised me, man, because Corbin don't just look like a killer. Like when you see him in the gym, he's kind of just chill, real nice guy. Doesn't even really talk a whole lot, but he can fight, man. He can fight, and he's good everywhere too. That's the guys I like, man. Like I'll go in there and try to turn it up some when we're doing sparring and stuff. And Corbin don't back down from it. Like he don't shy away from it.
Right.
He's there for it. You know, he's ready. So
Heck yeah.
he also fights tomorrow night, Attitude MMA for a title.
Okay.
So and I encourage people, man, go support these guys.
For sure.
They can't just fight here in Jackson. They don't want it. They shouldn't just fight here in Jackson. They should build their name. They should be seen.
Absolutely.
Attitude's a great promotion, and they have a nice pay-per-view set up. So anybody that wants to watch them, you know, it's on Spectator Sports or Spectation, something like that. So
cool. Heck yeah. So like, I mean, really, we've already kind of segmented into this, but with your guys right at the gym or at Anthony's gym, right? Like, are there any local shows particularly that you like to put your guys in that you feel like they'll get treated kind of the same way that you want to treat fighters when they come to your shows, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty good. So Anthony handles all that. I don't match the guys at the gym. I've kind of helped Adrian with his 2 pro fights, but I still work through Anthony. I'm like, you know, talking about opponents with him because he's the head coach there.
Yeah.
So he kind of, you know, them guys, he kind of has certain promoters that he trusts because, you know, he's been around as long or longer than me. So he knows all the same guys. He knows who you can trust and which shows you can put them on and not. And so really, you know, I don't really have too much to do with, you know, helping them guys get matched unless Anthony, you know, he's got his hands are so full because dude's in the gym like 3 times a day. He's
right.
Youth minister at his church. So I don't mind helping out with that aspect, man. I'd love to match them guys and give back. And I do help him. I'll throw some names, you know, his way. And so, I mean, we got a good relationship and work good together as far as that aspect goes.
Nice. All right. So we've talked about local fighters, right? We've talked about shows that you put people in or like if you help push people in shows, things like that. For Hub City MMA, who has been in some of the best fights that have happened at your show?
Man, one of my favorite fighters to have on the show was Jason Danner. He's a pro now.
You know, I just spoke. So, well, I don't mean to cut you off, but October 1st in Clarksville, there's a fight.
Yep.
You have anybody coming to that one?
No, we don't have anybody from our gym on there.
You gonna go?
Yeah, I told Jason that I wanted to go to it. So as long as
Sunday. It's a Sunday night.
Oh, is it?
Dude, it's at my work. It's where I work. So I helped Mike Merriman solidify the spot for him.
Man. Yeah.
So
Mike's so cool, man. I love Mike. Oh,
he's a freaking nut, is what he is. I'm gonna tag him in this too and tell him that I name dropped him and called him a nut.
Hey, I got some good stories of Mike coming to some of our shows. I love when he comes in corners because he's a trip, man.
Oh, Mike is a trip. So he came in. Literally, it was the first week. Like I just dropped my first episode, and he came into the gym like 2 days later and was like, "Yeah, man, I just want to check out the space for an MMA pod or for an MMA fight." And the guy at the front desk was like, "Hey, Brandon, you need to talk to this dude right now." And so I talked to him, and of course, it's like, "Oh, I've known you since I was like 8 years old and didn't even know it, you know, from the Cage Domination days in Camden and blah, 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 whatever." And
that's so long ago.
Bro, it's like I remember being the announcer for one of the fights, or I think a couple of the shows.
Really?
And I got paid in pizza and monsters. Because I was like in 3rd grade, 4th grade. I kept telling Dad, I'm like, bro, put me in. I'm ready. Like I'm Bruce Buffer at heart. I feel it. And
I'm pretty sure I have a picture where I fought John Scott Summerfield.
And it's probably me sitting here interviewing you, right?
I think so, yeah.
You got to find it. I'll put it as my new profile picture if you find it.
I'll find it. I just looked through pictures the other day, and I'm pretty sure that was it.
If it's a little kid interviewing you, it's me, 100%. Long hair.
Yeah, that's it. I'll find it. I definitely have it.
That's me. So funny story though. I help Mike get the building and all that. I'm working the front desk, and Danner walks in to Acme where the fight's at, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm the main event of this fight," and I'm like, and he's like, "I just want to check out the place." I said, "All right, I'm showing you around," and so we're walking, and I'm telling him how it's gonna be set up and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, I do a podcast. He's like, bro, I follow you. And I was like, yeah, I think I follow you as well. And I said, hey, if everything goes good, I'll have you on. And he's like, heck yeah, let's go. He's confident. He's
Hey,
a dude.
he's so he's so
He's a
fun.
dog. It looks like.
Yeah, now dude don't play when it comes to fighting, and
Yeah.
he talks the talk, but he can back it up. I loved it because he was like, and Jackson, he had a following. He fought for us a few times, and everybody was like, man, when's Danner gonna come back? When's Jason Danner gonna come back? I mean, because he wins. He's talking to the,
Yeah.
he's looking, he's smiling while he's hitting people. Like
Yeah.
he puts on a show, man. He kind of reminds me of like Kevin Holland, kind of.
Oh, dude.
You know how Holland's like talking. He's having fun, but at the same
Yes.
time, he's
And
handling
piecing
business.
people up too. He's
Yep.
fighting this weekend.
Yeah.
That's like he's fighting Jack Della Maddalena this weekend, and that is like the people's main event. Like huge main event. Now we're talking about UFC, but huge main event, Grasso Shevchenko too, right? But you've got a guy and Jack Della Maddalena, 14 fight win streak out of Sydney, like big. I'm surprised he didn't fight on the Sydney card, to be honest. And then you've got Kevin
Yeah.
Holland that he's 4-2 in the welterweight division, but two of his losses are from Hamza on short notice, and then Stephen Thompson, and all four of his wins are by finish in the welterweight division. It's like, dude, these two guys are about to put on some freaking fireworks. I feel like, to be honest.
I love watching Kevin, man. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch because just because of what he brings and his weakness was wrestling, and he's obviously worked on it some.
Yeah, and like I guess the thing with him is like he can sell a fight without making it feel fake. Like sometimes some of these guys like make it feel very like WWE, like Connor, Sean, like O'Malley, like all of them can like kind of do that and they hype it up, but it feels fake. He's just like, bro, I don't care. I'm a
Natural.
his butt and it's like, all right, I like you.
Diaz brothers are the same way.
Dude,
They're just being themselves, like, and it's entertaining. Like
that's
they're
it.
not. That's not nothing about them is fake. That's real life for them. So
Yeah.
I love
All right,
guys like that.
So Dan or anybody else that's kind of been in some big fights or some of the best fights you've had on the show? I'm sure there's
Lane's
plenty.
actually, yeah. Oh, there is. There's some. I mean, we've had a lot of good like women fights. Taylor Dagner has fought for us a few times. She took a break. She had a kid. It's probably a year ago now, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe off. Her and her boyfriend both fight. And they both fought on the same show, which was pretty cool. So
Oh wow, that is cool.
we've had so many good fights. Justin Johnson is another name. Justin, he's only fought like 3 times. But Justin, if you ever seen, man, he is so entertaining. You can just look at his Facebook and tell he's entertaining. Like
Yeah.
he's just I love them guys that kind of bring that, they're
There's a
there
little
to,
bit of flair to it, It's like, yeah, I'm here to fight, but I'm here to put on a show as well at the same time.
yeah. Yeah, and it's good for me too as a promoter. I like to watch them as a fighter myself,
Yeah.
but as a promoter, people love to watch them type of guys,
Heck
So
yeah.
so yeah.
Very cool. Well, so the reason we're here, right? Like obviously we're here to talk about promotion and things like that, but the reason we're here, and we've kind of already talked about it, November 11th, there's a fight in Jackson, Tennessee. So let's talk about that a little bit. Okay, what's in store for the people November 11th in Jackson?
Man, if you come to one of these shows at the brewery, I fought in a lot of places. My favorite place to fight was Minglewood Hall back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Just the atmosphere, man, I felt like I was walking through the UFC. Like it just felt so cool.
Yeah.
And the brewery, it's a smaller venue, but man, we sell it out every time. The fans are loud. The fights we got a pretty small cage, and that makes for there ain't no running, so
There's no escaping, right? Yeah.
It makes for some really good fights, and there's so much talent out there right now, man. So many people you can bring in. So I know a lot of these guys, and it helps because I can, like we talked about earlier, I can make styles, match styles.
Yeah.
I try to, man, I take it serious. Like it's very important to me to have really good, exciting fights.
Heck yeah.
So man, we're gonna have about 13 fights, 2 or 3 kickboxing matches,
Nice.
2 or 3 titles on the line.
Okay.
I've already dropped one name.
That's my other question. Any other teasers you want to drop? I know it's a little out, but
there's another local guy that's going to be competing for a title. Hopefully,
okay.
I'm pretty sure I got that lined up. Another local fighter competing for a title. I'm doing my best to get I got a women's kickboxing match. I'm trying my hardest to match. So
Nice.
I always like to have at least one female fight on the card.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's another thing to
Absolutely.
look forward to. But it'll be a good show, man. And like I said, we usually sell it out, so there's always tickets. We got somebody making an appearance.
Heck yeah. What's up?
Say what's up. He's already like I'm already getting in trouble. He's kicking and choking and stuff at school, so I can't even play.
How can people buy tickets for November 11th?
We will have them online. If you watch our Facebook page, we'll announce, when they go for sale.
Okay.
We use Eventbrite for most of the tickets. And then if you want to reserve a VIP table, you can message me or my wife, Devin Collins on Facebook. Yeah. Sorry.
You're good.
He's in my little beer fridge. Message us on Facebook, and you can reserve a VIP table. They go really fast.
Okay.
We probably already sold half of them and we hadn't even advertised it yet.
Nice.
So, and you usually sell a few tickets at the door. So if you're last minute type of person like me, you can always bring cash and buy tickets at the door.
Heck yeah. Well, October 1st in Clarksville, I'm going to be doing interviews with some of the winners.
Yeah.
So, if we can work something out here, right, I'll do some interviews with some of the winners. We can share this media and all that stuff. We'll get it hyped up, man.
Yeah, man. I'm all for it, man.
I'm putting you on the spot right here on the podcast. You can't say no. You have to say yes.
Yeah, you are. Hey, I love what you're doing, man. This is big for the local fighters, man. Just to have people toss their name around.
Heck
if you're going to interview these guys after they win, this is what I was talking about earlier. It's one of the things that I remember, man. I felt important. Like if somebody interviews me after I win, and they're gonna, especially your podcast looks real professional and everything. So you take it and they see that and they share it on their page. I mean, like I said, it makes them feel good, and they're gonna come back to promotions that have that and do stuff like that. So
hey, well, any way that I can help you out, I know you help me out, so yeah, I got you, bro. Rapid fire questions. I did not warn you about this. I'm putting you on the spot. We're going UFC, okay? We're going to the big stage, all right? I think there's 4 of them. I'm unprepared. I didn't write them down today, so I'm going to see if I can remember them. Number 1, who is your greatest of all time?
GSP.
You're just like Mark Pillow, bro. Dude, peanut butter jelly sandwiches and freaking GSP. Golly, Bill. These dang West Tennessee guys. What the world?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so who is your biggest bust of all time?
Biggest bust of all time.
So the person with most hype didn't live up to it, all that stuff.
I can't think of. I mean, Chael Sonnen was good, but he didn't really live up to what he made himself. He did fight Anderson Silva and almost beat him. But I'm trying to think of this guy, Tyson Pedro.
Pedro. He just fought in Sydney.
Yeah, and he won, I think.
He looked good.
So it's hard to call him a bust, but he's had a lot of losses.
That's fair.
And it's hard to call anybody that made it to the UFC a bust. That's a hard rapid fire question, but
yeah. Oh yeah, make you think a little bit.
Yeah.
Right now, who is the best in the UFC right now? So not GSP. He's not on the roster anymore. He's retired. Who you got?
Man, I like Kamaru Usman.
Okay. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. Just throwing that out there.
I know, but he's so well rounded, man.
Yeah.
He's so well rounded. I don't like Sugar Sean O'Malley. I don't.
What? I don't know if I expected that from you or not, to be honest.
I know it's weird. I've seen some podcasts and interviews and things he done, and I guess as a person, I kind of like some of the things he said as a person. I like his fighting though. I do like his fighting. I like. That's his style.
How I feel about John Jones. Like John Jones, dude, I think he's probably the greatest like light heavyweight, potentially heavyweight of all time, right? But like all his antics outside of the UFC, bro, it's like I can't support you with all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's I'm the same way. That name would have been second on my list as far as he dude, probably the GOAT, but you got to check all the boxes to be the GOAT, not just fighting. So that's why I got GSP. He checks
Fair
them
enough.
all.
All right, so we got greatest of all time GSP, biggest bust. We're gonna go with Tyson Pedro on that one, like you said. And then your best right now, you said was
Kamaru Usman.
Kamaru Usman. That's right.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add for the people, Ryan?
Man, I thank you for letting me come on here and chit chat with you for a little bit.
Of course.
And I know you're going to do big things with this podcast, man. It caught my eye, and I really like it. But I appreciate everybody that supports, local MMA in general. Supports our shows, Hub City MMA. Go if you're in Jackson and you're watching this. I know I'm gonna share it. You'll share it. Go check out Anthony Jones, Aero Athletics. That dude, he's building a great program. They got a little bit of everything. They got kids jiu-jitsu, total fitness kickbox. I mean, no, not total fitness. Cardio kickboxing. They got everything, man. They got kids boxing, adults, jiu-jitsu, whatever you want. It's gonna be all in one gym. So hit him up on Facebook or aeroathletics.com. And they got that's where everybody's at if you're in Jackson. So
heck yeah. Any other shout outs? I mean, how can people find you? How can people find Hub City MMA? All that kind of stuff.
Mainly on Facebook. I don't do too much on Instagram. I need to promotion wise, but it's just Facebook. That's where for years all my connections have been. So that's mainly where I do it. But I'm on Facebook. Like I said, I have my wife Devin Collins. She handles a lot of the online stuff, and like I said, all the sponsors and the VIP tables. So if you're interested in sponsoring the event, she's the one to get with. And a shout out to her because I probably wouldn't be promoting again if she didn't take about 75% of the stuff off my plate. So
there you go. Well, bro, it was so nice having you on. I appreciate you so much. And I'm looking forward to November 11th, man. I'm just throwing this out there as well. I am not gonna watch the John Jones Stipe Miocic fight, so I can come to Hub City MMA's fight. Man, if that tells you how excited I am to be there live, I don't know what does.
We'll get on the phones and watch it while we're watching the fights live. So
deal. I'll take it.
I'll make sure I got it somewhere for you there.
All right, deal. Well, Ryan, it was a pleasure, brother. I hope you have a good night, a good weekend. And yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to November 11th, brother.
Man, same. And thank you for, allowing me on again, man. I appreciate it. Thanks.
It was a pleasure.